Welcome back to this episode of Beyond the Close. Today we've got something pretty special, don't we, babe?
Something special, something short, sharp special, just a little bit of experience share, something that's worked for me in my career and something that works for my students. And it's the pre-call certainty priming routine, something that I use to prime my certainty, to cultivate a state of leadership, to step into my leadership before I hop onto a sales call or before I go into a meeting or before I come onto a podcast or before I give a talk, before I speak in front of people. I cultivate my confidence, I step into my leadership and I create a state of leadership. I think it's really important.
Absolutely. You've allowed me the opportunity to use this myself in the past, and there was a period of time where it was when I was heavily pregnant actually, and I just would get rattled by things. We'll blame the hormones, but I had never done anything like this. I think I used to do something similar when I would drive to work of a morning. That's probably really important for people who work from home. I think that's since I've worked from home, I don't do it as much, but I used to use that drive from home to work in the car. I'd listen to certain music and I'd cultivate a state of high performance for me. But I didn't have that when I was working from home. And so you allowed me to go through this process, and yeah, it was pretty powerful. So let's get into it.
Well, and I'll give some backstory. It's for me, it's a habit now. It's a habit. It's something my body knows, and I know where to go. And I know the state. I understand the feeling that I cultivate, and it's a feeling, and I understand it. My body understands it's unconscious, but it's not with me all the time. And so that's the challenge with a lot of people is the difference between your best and your worst or your average can be a long way between those, those states, or I guess the states of feeling, states of being. And it needs to be something we summon. Problem, mistake, challenge people have before they jump on a sales call, before they step into a meeting, before they jump on their morning sales meeting. They've just rolled out of bed. Yeah. They have had a busy morning. They've gotten the kids dressed and fed and out the door, and they're rushing to get onto their first meeting. And they're in a state, because we are always in a state, but the state is not productive to the outcome, the result that we want to have. And then that can lead to a bad morning, which can lead to a bad day. And this can roll into a bad week, month, year, life. And it's contagious. Like a bad sales call, if we allow it to sort of impact our emotional state, it does lead to a bad day. It can lead to a sales rut, and it can really lead to you being out in the street looking for another role. State management was one of I learned it from Jordan Belfort. It was my first real introduction to it. My first ever sales sort of experience was sales training experience with Jordan Belfort years and years ago. I was building out my sales team. Went to this training, blew my mind away. And he sort of introduced me to the concept that state is something that we're always in, but we can cultivate it, and it can be accessed if you have a routine, and so a high performance state. And if we don't cultivate it, then we're just going to show up in however we show up, and it's not a great way to plan out your month and be successful. Is to just
leave it to chance.
Leave it to chance. So cultivating state's really important for me, and I spend time every morning cultivating the state of leadership before I jump onto a sales call and before I do anything really of any significance. And this is something that I've helped students do, and it does work. And it's not rocket science. Doesn't take long. Honestly, it doesn't take long. It's not like something like my morning routine used to take 2 hours in the morning, and it wasn't very conducive to, definitely not conducive now to sort of our family life. Now, this is something that's really quite simple. So for me, it covers three areas: mental, physical, and emotional. So I want to achieve physical energy, mental clarity, and emotional certainty. Those are the three things that I'm really looking for here. So again, all of these concepts, they converge: physical, emotional, mental. They do converge, but those are the three things I'm looking for. Physical energy, I want to feel energized. Mentally, I want to feel clear. I don't want to feel scattered. And then emotionally, I want to feel confident and certain and abundant, not scarce, not fearful. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's really what we have to cultivate. And it's something I could wake up in the morning and feel frazzled. I could feel scattered. We're busy. We're building a business. I can feel, I might have had multiple things that have knocked my confidence. And so naturally, if I show up on a sales call, I'm going to feel, if I don't work on that, if I don't actively go, shit, I need to work on this. I need to cultivate a state of a leadership before I jump into this call. If I rock up as I am, scattered, low on energy, flat, and a little bit weak, a little bit inferior, a little bit lacking confidence, low on confidence, then I'm going to suck. I'm going to suck. So the first thing is physical. Training, exercise is a big one. One thing that has been a habit is Wim Hof and the breathing. I like the breath work, and this is a good not only priming in the morning, but it's also a good state reset. If you have a bad sales call, if you have something that impacts your state, it's something that you can just access straight away. 20 to 30 deep breaths, the charging breaths, the breath holds can really transform my physical state. Cold showers or cold plunge, certainly something that can prime my state or give me a reset that I need if I'm feeling flat, low in energy. Push-ups, random push-ups can be a really good way for me to just feel energized. And even just walking outside, going for a walk and just getting outside, it can really help me get energy. As opposed to, this is kind of in comparison to getting out of bed, getting the kids to school, being rushed in the morning, jumping straight on the laptop and getting straight into work. So that's number one, is physical in the morning. So working on my physical state to feel energized. The second is to cultivate mental clarity. So going from a state of scattered to clear. And for me, that is reviewing my top priority for the day. So understanding what are my top objectives for the day and journaling about those, setting goals for the day and getting really, really clear on what I need to get done today in relation to kind of everything that is going on, because there's always a lot going on. But what are the things that I really want to achieve, my goals, what would make a really good day today? So that's really for me, just getting myself mentally clear. And if ever I feel scattered and confused because, we've got 50 browser tabs open, I've got 3 screens on my, I've got Google, Chrome, like browser tabs open. I forget where I was on here, and I've got Slack going off. I've got WhatsApp, I've got the CRM, I've got a phone call coming in, I've got a meeting coming up, and there's just shit going on everywhere. Really, I can go from a state of clear to scattered pretty quickly. So getting back to that state for me is going back to that written list as well. It's written for me because we use tech a lot, so I just write it on a pad, and it gives me the clarity that I need. Okay, cool, that's my priority today. That's where I need to be. This is what I'm doing. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. If you want to get in touch with us, go to the Closers Dojo on Facebook. This is a Facebook group, free Facebook group for anyone looking to sell or build a sales team. We do sales trainings in there. We share a lot of resources. I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it. And finally, there is the state of certainty. So cultivating that state of certainty, cultivating that confidence, cultivating that, which is, for me, it's that feeling of just, I've got anything. I could take on the world. I could take on any task and be successful, which is in comparison to, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm fearful, I'm feeling a bit scarce. Because I think confidence isn't just about feeling, like you can achieve a task. It's also about feeling good about the future, which is I think more abundance as well. So confidence not only in just what you've got there going on, but confidence that the future is going to be better than what it is now. So that's really abundant. And the problems that I have and a lot of people have is when you dip into scarcity, you're a bit fearful. And that on a sales call, that'll kill you. That'll kill you. You're scarce. You're needy. You're like trying to grab the sale like it's a slippery bar of soap, and see you later. No sale, bad review, head noise, and then this becomes a pattern that can kind of play out and become like a snowball for a person. Their state of being needy and fearful and lacking confidence can then lead to them making their behaviours being desperate, needy, salesperson, sort of commission breath. They get bad results, they get more rejection. It starts to become a self-fulfilling cycle. It's very hard to snap out of that. So how do I shift out of that state of fear, scarcity, lack of confidence? It's really, for me, it's reviewing wins. It's the wins audit. In sales, a wins audit is I review my last 5 calls. My last 5 sales that have sold. My last closes. I look at the names. I just look at the names. And I review and I remember. And I've got a list. I've got a form here which kind of takes me through. These are the last 5 people that were confident enough in me and the product to buy. And just even for me, just reviewing those names just gives me confidence that, hey, I'm actually I'm good at this. So many times in sales, you have multiple people that don't buy, not because you're not good at what you do, but because there was something going on for them. But you can allow that to impact your identity, and it can erode at your confidence, and you can start to question your own ability, question your confidence, question your even really experienced salespeople who've been selling for years will start to go, can I actually do this? Have I just woken up and forgotten how to sell?
And up until now been a fluke.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I'm like, have I? All of those placements I've made, like they must have just fallen together. Because
You forget. We really forget. And because we've got short-term bias and we forget and we're also biased towards bad things. So as humans, we're biased towards the things to really emphasize problems and bad stuff because it keeps us safe, technically. So, we're looking we're scanning the environment for stuff that we need to be worried about. And that's really when we have 10 sales and we can't forget that or that 9 sales we can't forget. Like, we don't feel good about the 9 sales, but we're just pissed off about the one that didn't close. Yeah. Let alone if you have 10 rejections in a row. As salespeople, for me, I could have 9 sales and be pissed off and not feel good because I was pissed off about that one that let go. What happens when I lose 10 in a row or 5 in a row? So you can really go into a deep hole, and it's often nothing to do with you or your excellence or your ability. So I review my sales calls just to remind myself I'm not stupid. I can actually do this. I am good at this. I have my best sales calls recorded as well, and I listen to them. I listen to the best sales. I listen to me at my best. And when I have a killer sales call, I put it in the best sales calls folder.
The MVP.
The best calls folder.
Calls.
The other thing as well that you can do as a salesperson is you can listen to other people's sales calls to get you into a state of that's what I'm shooting for. That's the energy I need to bring to the call. But if you're good and you're just trying to cultivate that state and really just remember and constantly bring that every day, listening to parts of your best sales calls, the parts you really did well, the parts maybe which you're struggling with at that time. It can be really, really useful. And then finally, just to kind of set it all off, I have a list of affirmations that I go through, and I've got hundreds and hundreds of affirmations in a list, and some of them are relevant for some things for whatever's happening for me at the time. So I'll give you some examples. My certainty overcomes their doubt. And I'm just reading literally from the hundreds that I have here. Mm-hmm. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. So if I'm constantly, let's say I'm going through a period of my sales journey and I'm getting a lot of people who are giving me objections and they're giving me reasons why they can't move forward. Sometimes if you're not careful, you can slip into just believing people's objections and buying their bullshit. You can buy their story. You're being sold on their story and you're actually buying it. So a lot of the time, if that's happening for me, that would be helpful for me to just to rehearse and remind myself in the morning. I'm like, cool. If people really want something, they'll find a way. If they don't, they'll find an excuse. And so that's an example of something that could just snap me into, just remind me, hey, don't buy their excuse. Like, your job is not to buy their excuse. Your job is to actually challenge that, support them to make a powerful decision that's actually going to break the cycle, break the patterns that have held them back. Confident, certain, detached energy, avoid commission breath. Like, that's one of the things I've written down here. People want a leader. They don't want someone who's desperate, who needs the sale. So this is all stuff I've written years ago and that I've built on this list. But there was a time where I'm sure people want a leader. They don't want you as a salesperson to want to sell them. I can't want this more than them. Silence is my weapon. The less I talk, the more I close.
Oh, that's a good one. We should put that on a cup. Actually, I can see that on a mug.
The less I talk, the more I close. There's a lot of salespeople who need to read that.
Yeah.
People are buying their way out of pain. He who has learnt to disagree without being disagreeable has learnt the most valuable secret of negotiation. And I could go on. There's hundreds here, but so that one there for me, if I'm not on, like if I'm in a state of fear or if I'm in a state of being frazzled, not mentally clear, I can be a little bit disagreeable.
Shock. I knew exactly where you were going with that.
And so that's not my best. So sometimes someone else, their not so best is where they go really passive.
Yeah.
They're like, they roll over and play dead.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like the opposite. I need to
going at it.
Yeah, I'm like a bulldozer.
Yeah.
And it's not good for the prospect. And it's really just me not being in a state of leadership for me. So cultivating a state of leadership is super, super important. It is something I work on every day. Yeah. I think like anything, mindset, how I approach the day, it's a constant work in progress. It's like mowing the lawns, trimming the hedges. You can do it on the weekend, but a couple of weeks go by, you have to do it again. Yeah. You can have a bath, have a shower, but you've got to have a shower tomorrow as well. You've got to keep doing that. Otherwise, you're going to stink.
You'll be smelly.
You will.
Can we package this up and have it as a resource for people to use under this video?
We can. Yeah. So if you want to access this document, the mindset and certainty priming document, which will help you step into your state of leadership, we will attach it to the
YouTube.
To the show notes.
Yeah, to the show notes. Put it in the show notes so you can download it. Awesome.
Great.
Thanks for sharing.